Hello everyone, how's it going, and welcome back to today's Wildrift video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the new champions that just came out, Morgana the Fallen. This is going to be a complete beginner's guide for Morgana, so we're going to go through everything that you need to know. The abilities, what builds you should be running, and we'll have gameplay to show off to you all as well. So let's head straight into today's video. Morgana is a mage that can be played in the mid lane or as a support. She has a wide variety of abilities that allow her to lock down the enemies or save her allies against heavy crowd control. Looking through the build with Morgana, you want to build a lot of ability power, so all of your abilities will deal a lot of damage. For the first item, we have Luden's Echo. Gives you that ability power and also some maximum mana and ability haste that helps a lot, especially with all of your abilities. And you also have the Discordic Echo passive. Moving and casting abilities builds up Discord, and at 100 Discord, your next damaging active ability or empowered attack deals bonus magic damage. This is really nice as it spreads the damage as well, and you can easily deal even more damage to the enemies. Moving on to Rabadon's Death Cap, this is an item that's going to give you a lot of ability power, 120 ability power, plus it increases your overall ability power as well by 40%. For the boots, we have Ionian Boots, which reduces the cooldown of our abilities. And for the boost upgrade, we have Stasis. Stasis works really well with Morgana. It allows her ultimate to still be active even though you're going to be invulnerable. And for the boost upgrade, we have Stasis. Stasis works really well with Morgana, especially her ultimate. As the ultimate is channeling, you can use Stasis to become invulnerable, but your ultimate will still keep going. That means it will still keep channeling and it will still keep going until it finishes off and roots. Moving on to Void Staff, this item also gives you a lot of ability power and a little bit of magic penetration as well. At this point of the game, there will be enemies that will start to build magic resist because you will start dealing a lot of damage, but with Void Staff you'll basically negate most of that magic resist with the magic penetration that you have. Moving on, we have Morella Nomicon. It gives you a little bit of maximum health and also more ability power and a little bit of extra magic penetration. You also have a really nice passive as well, which is Affliction, so dealing magic damage applies Grievous Wounds. At this point of the game, Grievous Wounds is going to be really effective as it reduces the effectiveness of healing and regeneration effects, meaning that if you hit an ability on an AD carry that has a lot of physical vamp, that will all be reduced by 40 or 60% depending on their health. For the last item, we have Liandry's Torment. You get that little bit of extra max health again and even more ability power. You also have two really nice passives as well. The first one, Madness, deals 1.2% more damage for each second in combat against champions, which is capped at 6%. And you also have Torment as well, which damaging abilities and empowered attacks deal 1% of the enemy's maximum health as bonus magic damage. And this damage is doubled if they are slowed or immobilized. Moving on to the runes, the first rune we have is Airy, which allows your attacks and abilities to send Airy to the target, damaging enemies or shielding allies. This works really well if you want to go for a more damage orientated build like this one, if you want to just deal with a little bit more damage. And this also allows your Black Shield, your third ability, to get a little bit of extra shield on top as well. Brutal gives Morgana that little bit of extra ability power and magic penetration in the early game, helping her clear waves and also do a little bit of damage to the enemy champions. The next rune we have is Bone Plating. After taking damage from a champion, the next 3 champion abilities or attacks against you within the next few seconds deal less damage. And for the last rune, we have Sweet Tooth, which increases a honey fruit healing by 25%. And whenever you or a nearby ally eats a honey fruit, you gain 20 gold. So you can get to the item power spike that a little bit sooner. And lastly, for the spells, we have Flash and Ignite. Now, Ignite works really well with Morgana's crowd control. If you do land a Darker Binding on any enemy champion, you can walk up and easily use Ignite because they'll be immobilized in place. Next up for Morgana, we're going to be taking a look through all the abilities and the passive. First up is her passive, which is Soul Siphon. Morgana heals for 20% of the damage dealt with abilities against champions, large monsters, and large minions. This passive will surprisingly help you out a lot, especially with Morgana's second ability and her ultimate. Her second ability does damage over time, which means that you'll be healing over time as well. And with her ultimate, if you can hit 5 enemies, you'll be able to heal up a lot of health very very quickly. Moving on to Morgana's first ability, we have Dark Binding. It fires a bolt of dark energy, rooting the first enemy hit and dealing magic damage. This is Morgana's main crowd control ability and allows her to catch enemies off guard. You can use this ability both offensively or defensively depending on the situation, but being able to root an enemy for a maximum of 2.75 seconds at max rank is a long amount of time. Next up, we have Morgana's second ability, which is Tormented Shadow. It curses an area for 5 seconds, dealing magic damage over time to enemies within. The damage is increased by up to 170% based on their missing health, and Tormented Soil deals 150% damage against monsters, so this might make things like Morgana Jungle viable. This ability allows you to wave clear a lot in the early game, allowing you to roam around the map if needed, and you can combo this ability with Dark Binding as well to guarantee that you'll deal a lot of damage. Moving on, we have Morgana's third ability, which is Black Shield. Place a barrier around an allied champion or yourself for a few seconds, absorbing magic damage and blocking disables while the shield holds. Placing a black shield on yourself or an allied champion and disabling all crowd control is really important, especially in the late game. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for your teammates, see if they're about to engage or if they're in trouble, and you can use a black shield to stop all crowd control. And lastly, we have Morgana's ultimate, which is Soul Shackles. Morgana chains nearby enemy champions, dealing magic damage equal to 30% of their maximum health, and the chains persist for 3 seconds, revealing and slowing their movement speed by 15%. When the duration ends, the chained targets are stunned for just over a second and dealt magic damage equal to their maximum health. This ultimate is absolutely insane in team fights. If you can land a 5-man ultimate with Soul Shackles and stun everyone in place, you will easily be able to win the game. Not only that, but it does a lot of damage, and you'll also be able to heal as well from Soul Siphon, so you'll be able to keep yourself alive. Moving on to the skill order, at level 1 you can actually flex between 2 separate abilities. If you want to try and push the lane as much as possible, you can start your second ability, or if you want to try and catch the enemy off guard, you can start with the first ability. I much prefer to go for the second ability first. You're not going to do as much damage with your Dark Binding if you don't have Tormented Shadow available, but then once you reach level 2, you can go for your first ability, being able to immobilize enemies in place and deal a lot of damage with Tormented Shadow. And then you can get your third ability to be able to black shield yourself and being able to protect yourself against the enemies. And then you want to make sure you max your second ability first. The Tormented Shadow does a lot of damage, especially with the Dark Binding on top as well. So you need to make sure you deal as much damage as possible with the Tormented Shadow and place it in the right place. Then after that, you want to go for your first ability, obviously making sure you level up your ultimate when possible. And then for last but by no means least, you want to go for your third ability. And at this point of the game, you'll be able to root enemies for a long amount of time with the first ability and follow that up with Tormented Shadow and Soul Shackles as well, and deal a lot of damage. Overall, Morgana is a fairly easy and beginner-friendly champion that anyone can pick up and play. She's really strong at all stages of the game, whether it's a cheeky level 1 invade to catch someone sleeping with Dark Binding, or getting that 5-man lockdown with her ultimate Soul Shackles. There's something available at all stages of the game to carry your team. And there you have it, that's everything you need to know about the new champion Morgana. Let me know down in the comments whether you're going to be playing her as a support or as a mid laner. Me personally, I'm going to try her out in the mid lane. If you enjoy the content on this channel, make sure you leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, take care, and I'll see you all very soon. Peace.